Spider-Boy #1 is here next week, so let's go ahead and take a look at my top 10 comic picks for next week's new comic book day, November 1st, 2023. Without further ado, let's get started. Let's go ahead and start things off with a couple awesome covers, and we have, first off, this Star Wars Insider number 22. This is a foil variant, and it has Grogu. I was going to say Baby Yoda, but we know Grogu is inside IG-88. It might be IG-11, actually. It's IG-11 from Mando, and IG-88's from the original trilogy. So anyway, I think that's a really cool cover, but it is a really steep price point at $20. So you'd have to really be into this to want to go ahead. Although, you know, Star Wars Insider has some news and stuff like that, if that's something you're interested in. Here's the cover A, if you're looking for the cover A at half the price at $10, if you don't really care about the price, but, you know, you want to read it. There you go. And at number 9, we have Captain Marvel #1. Now, it looks like this is actually a reprint of the 2014 or 15 version. But it's the Trick or Treat. It's a Trick or Treat, or Trick or Read, I'm sorry, Halloween cover. So I don't know. It says that, where is it? A new life, new romance makes a dramatic decision to alter the course of her life and the entire Marvel Universe for months to come. I don't remember what happened after this came out, honestly, so I don't know if there's any keys in this book, in this Captain Marvel #1. But this, yeah, so that's what I think is going on here, is this is a reprint of this older run here. So that might be something that you would be interested in if you like Captain Marvel. And next up, this is the last of the cover buys, and this is Batman Catwoman, the Gotham War Scorched Earth #1. This is the cover C Kendrick Lim variant, and there's nothing really to say about this other than it's just a beautiful cover. But that's my number 8, so let's get on to my number 7 and actually some of the possible spec picks. And at number 7, we do have the second print of Gods #1, and again, this was a double key. It has a first appearance of Cubus Core, who is a being of pure corruption, and it has the first appearance of Centaur of the Centums, and which I think I said in my last video is really funny because it reminds me of Sanctum Sanctorum, how they use the alliteration for some of these names in when Doctor Strange is involved. But anyway, that's just number 7. It's a second print. If you think that is a key worth specking on, there you go. Next up, at number 6, we have White Widow #1, and this is the introduction of the armament. So, not a huge first appearance by any means, but we do have that. So let's just move on to number 5, and we have Return of Superman 30th Anniversary Special. So the thing about this book is apparently it goes back to the events of the death of Superman, and you get to see it from 4 different perspectives, which I think might actually be really awesome. And apparently there is a cameo, or they mention a new villain. So it could be a cameo, could be a first appearance, who knows. But that could give it a little bit of a higher spec value. Especially, people might really like this sort of 4-angle thing. I think this might be something that they should really look into doing for some of these bigger events. Almost how they did the Hawkeye TV show. They did, what's her name? Kate Bishop. They did Kate Bishop's, her angle of the attack on New York from the Avengers movie. So, from I think 2012, I think that movie was. So, anyway, that might be something they might be, you know, interested in doing for several of these big, not just DC, but comic books in general. They might want to do something like that. I think that'd be a really cool idea. Obviously, it wouldn't be original because this would kind of be the first one that did it, as far as I'm aware. But it could allow you to retroactively create new characters or a new experience for characters or things like that. Or it's not just rehashing or remaking certain things. You're actually giving it further context and deeper sort of understanding of the events and how it affected more than just what we saw when it happened. So I think that you could get really sort of meta with it, and it could be really fun. So I kind of went on a little tangent there, but I really do hope they do something like that. When I read this, that's kind of what I sat and thought about for a little while. But alright, let's just move on to number 4, and this one is a 1 for 10 design variant. This is Magneto number 4. So I don't believe that this is their first appearance in the story, but it does have the it is a design variant of the Sisterhood of Evil Mutants by Todd Knock, and that kind of, could be something, I don't know, down the line, but there you go. I know when Spider-Gwen got big, the design variant for her, even though it was years later, sort of jumped up in price as well. But alright, let's move on to number 3. We have Venom number 27. Now, this one is... I haven't read 26, so I don't know if that was a cameo or first appearance or what. Because in here it says the Venom of the Widow. So I don't know if that was her first appearance and this is just kind of her first, actions in the story. Some people consider that the first appearance. I don't know. So it looks like after the birth of an all-new symbiote. So I know we saw it in the last issue. What familiar face will cross its path and become its first host? And will that host be able to resist the symbiote's corrupting? So actually the new symbiote, so that might be the symbiote itself, hadn't yet linked to Black Widow, and maybe that's what they're referring to with her here. Perhaps will the symbiote be able to survive theirs? So is Black Widow corrupt and violent? Possibly. We know she was, a Russian spy for a little while with the Red Room and all that, and she is definitely violent. So I don't, honestly, I'm trying to pull out all the context I can out of this without having read the book. So let me know what you guys think. Am I way off on my analysis of this book? Is this a nothing burger here that I'm putting up at number 3? Or am I kind of right that 26 wasn't really much and 27 is really going to be the book to own if you're interested in this character? Alright, moving on to number 2. We have, this is a hit or miss, who knows? This is the Ultimate Universe number 1. So it's supposed to sort of reset or create a new Ultimate Universe. And we know that some of there are other iconic characters that had their first appearances come out last time they tried to do an Ultimate Universe, so they're doing it again. So who knows? They could have their first appearances in here, and Jonathan Hickman is writing it, so I am really excited where they're going to go with this. I hope this is sort of... I don't think it's going to quite be like a New 52-esque, where it's sort of everything in canon is now relative to this. This might be like a multiverse version of what's going on in canon now. It'll be an Ultimate Universe universe, I guess. But yeah, so it's at number 2 because the events in here could end up making their way into the MCU and making their way onto Disney Plus shows and things like that. So I think it's more about what events happen as opposed to the characters. But whenever they restart something like this, there's always some characters that leak out within the first few issues that could end up having long-term effects. I believe Miles Morales is... that was Ultimate Fallout. So I think that was an Ultimate Universe variant. So that ended up, look where it's at now relative to when it came out, almost 10 years ago. So that's my number 2. Before we get into my number 1, I did want to remind you, I do have my PayPal and my Venmo in the description of the video if you want to support the channel. And if you leave a message with it, I will read it in the next video that I am doing. So I did hit 600 subscribers, so I do want to give a great big thank you to all of you who are subscribing. I missed out on doing a 500 subscriber video. I am going to do a 600 subscriber video, possibly even do a giveaway in there. And then I think I want to either redo or re-upload or something with my 1K subscriber giveaway, so that you guys can, the newer people can kind of check that out without having to go dig through my channel and find it. Alright, so let's get into my number one, and that is Spider-Boy number one. I mean, did you guys think it was going to be anything else? Personally, my favorite cover is this John Tyler Christopher Negative Space variant cover. I think that is awesome, but who knows what's going to end up being the biggest one. Here's the 8-bit variant, which I think is really fun. It's kind of Mario-ish. Let's see. Let's look at these. So the 1 for 100 version. Honestly, I really hate when the 1 for 100 variants are just a version of cover A. I really hate that. So this 1 for 50 AHA variant is actually really cool. I think that's really neat. It's at least what's the word I'm looking for? Unique. I haven't really seen much like that. And then let me see what other ratio variants. There's a local comic shop day variant right here. Do they have any other ratios? There's the Vecchio homage of Spider-Man number 1. But I am not seeing any other ratios. I didn't see it when I was looking, but I thought I would just check it out now. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I'm surprised there's not like a 1 for 10 and a 1 for 25 and all that. That's kind of worrisome. There's no like 1 for 200. Usually on a bigger book like this, you'd expect there to be a 1 for 200, so I don't know if they're expecting this to hit as hard. Maybe they know that this isn't his first appearance or anything like that, so they're not going to... Maybe you're not going to get the spec that you would if this number 1 was his first appearance and all that. But there you go. That's my number 1. Spider-Boy number 1, released next Wednesday, November 1st, 2023. If you're not going to be able to get in there when it opens, make sure you go ahead and give your comic shop a call and let them know that you would like it put in your pull box. If you don't have a pull box at a local comic shop, I would recommend, and I have no affiliation with him, not for any negative reason, I just wanted to put it out there. It's not sponsored or anything, since I'm giving a recommendation. From everything I've seen, Bill over at Economics and Comics always makes sure that you guys at least get a 9.6 or higher. Sometimes, you know, he can only do so much based on how the comics arrive when they're shipped, but if you want a clean copy, possibly grade, something like that, I would recommend going and getting it from Bill, unless you have a good relationship with your comic shop and they'll go ahead and pull a nice copy for you. I know it's, at least at my local comic shop, it's almost been impossible to get a 9.8 candidate for things that just, you know, come in and they put up on the wall. So you will have to pay shipping and stuff to get it from Bill, obviously, but if you're wanting a higher copy worth grading, it might be worth it to pay that extra shipping. So, anyways, just something I thought I'd let you guys know. Alright, well, there's my number 1, Spider-Boy number 1. Alright, everybody, that's going to go ahead and do it for me in this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please click that thumbs up button and give this video a like. Subscribe to the channel to see more great comic book and collectible content like this. And comment down below, let me know what you thought about my top 10 comic picks for next week's new comic book day, November 1st, 2023. I did want to mention, if you are looking to get any of the DC books from here, you're going to want to make sure to get your but you're going to want to make sure to contact your LCS or get in there on the Tuesday, the day before, which will be Halloween, October 31st, 2023. But other than that, pretty much all the other books you'll be able to get on Wednesday, or you can call and have your comic shop put them aside for you by Wednesday. And I did want to remind you also, my PayPal and my Venmo in the description of the video. I am doing my 1K subscriber giveaway. And thanks again for checking out this video. And until next time, bye.